Over the last couple of months, I've learnt an awful lot. I've learnt a lot about medication, a lot about me, a lot about how it feels to have cancer and believe it, and then have cancer and not actually believe it. I've got a wardrobe full of clothes that all of a sudden were fitting me, and I'm like, oh my God, I can swish around in this fancy dress that I've not worn for ages. And I'm quite happy because I never want to eat again anyway. To, oh, I'm so starving, what can you feed me? And then nothing fits me at all. Like the tops of my arms. If I put my arm up, it really hurts, like trying to bend from my elbow. And I mean, just looking at me now, I can see the sore around my face, my big chins. I didn't know somebody could produce so many chins, actually. But I've also learnt about how medication affects you and how it props you up. So I'm gradually coming off the steroids. I'm down to 1 milligram from today. Yesterday I slept all day. I got to my milestone of my birthday, which was amazing. My next milestone is in a couple of weeks' time. We're off to Haven with the family. Never been on a Haven holiday. And I haven't been to a caravan since I was about 8. That's not true. I did have a couple of caravan holidays with the kids, but I'm not very good at not doing hotels, so we'll see how we go on. I'll definitely be filming that one. But one of the other things is that I've now got a wheelchair. Those of you that go on my Facebook page would have seen a picture of my wheelchair, my present. It was a family gift. And I was so reluctant. And what I would say, if you've been suggested that you should get a wheelchair, or if you find that you go out and it's tiring, give it a try. For me, there was a real stigma attached to a wheelchair. Not just because it's like admitting, yes, actually I am really ill, but I remember breaking my leg a few years ago, probably 9 years ago, 8, 9 years ago, and I became invisible the moment I was in the wheelchair. And it's actually true. You're still invisible. So hubby decided that once we'd got the wheelchair, we was going out on a trip. So I went to, where did we go? Well, first of all, we went to the cemetery. Went to cemetery plot choosing. Was it a sobering moment? No, actually I was quite excited about it. I was thinking, well, if I know where I'm going to be, not that I will know where I'm going to be, if you know what I mean, it kind of makes it easier. To find out that the plot was 1706, which is my son's birthday, the 17th of June, and I chose that randomly without even making any association with the numbers. I just picked the one on the end of that row. Was a bit of an omen for me. Because I do believe that, there's more. Once you're gone, you're not really. You're still here in a way. So watch out if you're on my haunt me list, because I will be back. The other thing is, it was a bit bumpy going down there, so I would say get yourself a decent cushion to sit on. I've got myself a luxury padded cushion in it, and you need it. And then our next trip was to Waitrose. Waitrose was an experience that I'm not sure I'd like to repeat without something like air horns maybe, or a rattly exhaust, anything to get people to move out of the way. So I was looking for coffee cups. Would you believe coffee cups? In the day and age of fancy coffee machines and fancy coffee, how difficult it is to buy a glass cup for coffee. So I've got a little row of latte cups, small ones. I'd like some tall ones. I'd like some cappuccino ones. But no, I'm destined not to have these cups. So anyway, we walked around Waitrose looking for these things. And I think I probably could have tripped up a dozen people who are so busy trying not to look at you, they actually walk into you. So I was anticipating the loud crash of all the crockery and china, as I'm just trying to reach up to these little glass things with metal handles that weren't really big enough. And people coming crashing into me, trying to look the other way. It's hilarious. Then we went around the food bit, and people just stop. They walk across the front of you and stop, which is okay if you're pushing yourself. When you have somebody pushing you that's not looking where they're going, but looking at the shelves of food, we could have ended up with a little bit of a crime scene in the middle of Waitrose. And then we made our way to the checkout, which is even more fascinating. So hubby hurtles along, stops. You can see their heads bobbing along as they're walking along the rows. And they glance over, and then they glance down and they look the other way and keep walking in front of you. Fine, we can deal with that. No different to driving, just that you've got to have giveaway lines all the time for your wheelchair. And then up to the counter. So the lady's packing the bag. The woman behind tutting because she can't get past my wheelchair with her trolley at the 10 items or less counter. And then I'm going to pay. So I say to the woman at the counter, I'm going to pay. So she looks at hubby and tells him how much. Useful, maybe, considering I'm the one with the purse. So I hand her the money, and she takes the money, and then she turns to hubby and tells him how much the change is, hands the change to me, unbelievably, without looking at me, no eye contact, looks back at him and says, thank you. Amazing. So I am invisible wheelchair lady. So I would say that's one of the things you need to look out for, is that don't be offended. People have obviously got no idea that a wheelchair just means that you can't actually walk somewhere. They obviously think you're not capable of communication. Anyway, so we're hurting our way out, and I've got hubby's balanced the bag on the back, a bit like me being in a buggy. And I've got my handbag sitting there, you know, my fancy handbag sitting there. I've got my red boots on, so I'm all dressed up, nowhere to go really. And I know it's pouring with rain outside. And there's 3 people walking along in front of us, and the man in front stops dead. And I just know hubby, he was going to run him, I was going to mow him down. So I was shouting, stop, watch out. And the bloke jumped, honestly. He had a cup of coffee in his hands, in one of these, you know, bring your own takeaway cups. And he just turned around and glared at us. But I know that if I hadn't put my hands up and shouted stop, he would have been run over, deliberately. And then hubby just pushed me outside into the rain. We got out of the car, and the rest was reasonably uneventful. But it is a warning. Please, if you're out there walking and there's a wheelchair behind you, watch out, because my hubby will mow you over. But there's also a lesson there, isn't there, for all of us? As we start to give in to our body letting us down, what do we want from other people? What do we expect from what's going on around us? Do we expect people to naturally understand what's going on in our mind? Do we know what we want? I want to be treated as normally as possible. And yet I know from the people that I've bumped into and seen recently, or hadn't seen for a while, sort of pre-medication, there's just a fleeting look of shock on their face when they see how bloated and puffy I look. And there's an element of shock factor. I don't want to scare anybody. I just want them to say, like, you know, this is still you. You look different, but you sound the same. Although I am tired and bloated, I know it's a medication. My brain is working fine. Well, I believe it is. I mean, you could probably tell me different. But don't be afraid of that next step. Getting into a wheelchair and letting somebody else take the pressure away from you so that you can rest means that you'll be well for longer. Because the research tells us the better controlled your pain is and the better your resting ability, the longer you live. So pushing on and trying to be brave and fight it and trying to be outside of the box, which is fine, but not listening to your body completely, won't necessarily help you in the long run. So my body's saying, don't be daft, get out of the wheelchair, walk. You can walk, don't be silly. But sensibly, I know from trying it now, by preserving that energy, I'm actually in much better shape doing the things that I actually physically want to do myself when I need to do it. So things like going up and down the stairs, I find that I'm choosing when I'm going to go downstairs for the amount of time that I want to be down there for, because I know coming up the stairs is uncomfortable, and the fact that my knees are quite weak. I don't know if that's the medication or if that is from the steroids or if it's just that I need a little more exercise. I'm trying to incorporate a bit more exercise in my day, but I'm also making sure that I sleep too. So anything that's out there that you might feel like he's giving into it. It's not. It's all an aid and it's helping you. And it's only by gritting my teeth and having to accept that I'm going to do this for me have I realised how much better I am for it. The weekend for me was exhausting. A weekend of company and family and my daughter and my son and my and everybody was around me, and it was fantastic and I had an amazing time. But I didn't move out of bed yesterday. Now normally I would fight it, but all I did yesterday was wash my hair and get back into bed. That is the answer. Preserve your energy, and then the next day you're much, much better. But it's not, you're not losing. Nothing's changed. And in actual fact, you're probably getting more time for it. So I would say, don't turn your nose up at the wheelchair. Do be prepared. And I'm still sure that air horns are potentially on my shopping list. But I would definitely take any options that make life easier. It's not the step back I thought it would be. It's a step sideways. So, my bloated face, my terrible skin, my ulcers, the dryness, I'm hoping is going to go. My hair is reasonably straight on one side. You can see that I'm hiding it a little bit on the other. And my body, I don't recognise. But I recognise in here. And everything else feels the same. I don't feel like I am this person that they tell me isn't going to see November. And as we all know, I'm still chucking on for this Sarah Millican concert. I'm still trying to raise funds for my Avastan. Second dose is coming up shortly. Don't have quite enough for dose number 3. Cross that bridge when I come to it. Generally, apart from the headaches and the state of my skin, I don't feel like I'm doing too badly. So I'd like to thank you all for your support. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of my medication, but not today. I just want you to think about anything that helps you. I would say take it. It's not a bad thing. Catch you later.